Hi, I'm Nancy Kress, and I'm reading from my new novella from Tachyon, Sea Change. The house was clearly lost. I watched from my seat on the second-story balcony of the Cinnamon Cafe as the tiny house, a 10 by 15 imitation Cape Cod with a single dormer, wavered in the middle of the intersection below. It turned to the left, to the right, back to the left, ending up crosswise to the intersection. Traffic honked and stopped. The house didn't budge, probably recalibrating. An ancient Lexus with an ancient driver tried to swerve around the house, but there wasn't enough room. The driver leaned out and shouted at the house, as if that would do any good. Whoever was inside had had the shutters closed. Several homeless, who were not supposed to be in this historic preservation neighborhood, jeered and laughed. The robo-server wheeled up to my table. "Can I bring you something else, ma'am?" I waved it away. My beer was only half drunk, and the show below was too entertaining to gulp the rest, even though I would be late to meet the new recruit. Let him wait. From now on, his life would include a lot of waiting. The old man in the Lexus, surprisingly spry, jumped out of the car and pounded on the door of the house. Nothing. People in cars, both driveys and manual, leaned out of their windows, looking impatient. One of the homeless threw a plastic cup at the house's back wall. It missed. A few pedestrians stopped to watch, smiling, probably gloating that they weren't the ones whose important rushing was being interrupted by an edifice with confused GPS. Still, the house didn't move. Mobile conveyances this large weren't permitted on city streets unless occupied, although that didn't guarantee that the occupants weren't asleep or drunk or too busy having sex to notice that their dwelling wasn't moving. At the very least, by now the mandatory pull-to-curbside auxiliary engine should have engaged. Somewhere in the distance, a siren sounded, probably cops trying to get through the increasingly snarled traffic. Grinning, I leaned forward for a better view, and that's when I saw the windowsill below a closed shutters. Simultaneously, my pocket pinged, just once. Not my phone, the D. It only operates at a distance of fewer than 25 feet to avoid electronic surveillance. I walked down the stairs from the cafe, forcing myself to not hurry, to look like any other person strolling around Pioneer Square in the rare October sunshine. The ping from my D was significant, but it was the paint on the windowsill that propelled me, a specific and ugly shade called Tiffany Teal. The famous New York jewelry store should have sued over the name. The paint company, after spectacularly bad sales, had discontinued the color. Tiffany Teal was roughly the color of wet cleanser, and it went with no other color in the known universe. It was the first thing that every new recruit memorized, drilled until they could distinguish it from azure, leaf, evening sky, and pale turquoise. We possessed gallons of it, all that was left in the United States, in multiple discrete locations. "Every organization needs a signature color," Eric Kitson had said, among his other stupid utterances. Blues are cops. Reds are communists, unless you live in Boston where they're a baseball team. Oranges are historic Irish enemies. Pinks are a girl band. I could go on, but the argument was too dumb. Eric Kitson was dead, and Tiffany Teal paint was used only to signal presence of the org. It was useful only for line of sight, but on the other hand, it couldn't be hacked, unlike all other forms of communication, and the org knew better than to trust what the government or software companies said about digital security. Not since Kitson's murder. The house had a single step leading up to its single door. The driver who'd pounded on the door had retreated in disgust. He sat on the front seat of his car, shouting into his phone. In one of the backed-up cars, not too far away, a child wailed. Surreptitiously, I pinged open the door with my D, turned to give a theatrically amazed look to onlookers, and ducked inside to the blatting of the alarm system. The siren was much closer now. I had only a minute or two. There was nobody in the tiny house. It had a loft bed, no time to go up there, a galley kitchen, fold-down table, 2 easy chairs, bookshelves, a TV. The door to the bathroom was open. I darted in, took the toothbrush, and barely had time to swallow my D. Saliva deactivated its mechanism. The D was soft, but nearly a half-inch square, and it got stuck partway down my throat, which gave my voice a strangled gasp when I turned to the 2 cops who filled the doorway. The door, it was, go down my throat, damn it. Open. I heard a child. The D finally finished its trip down my gullet. I heard a child crying, and I thought someone might need... I'd always been a more than plausible actress. Jake would have been proud of me. or maybe not, given everything. But I gave the cops the tremulous shakiness of a shy but compassionate middle-aged woman trespassing to save a child. I also had real trepidation creasing my face, a fake ID in my wallet that matched my fake retina scan, and fury in my blood for whatever missing agent of the org had put me in this position. If it had been an agent, the alternative was worse. Most of all, I felt fear, not for myself, but for the organization that always hovered between detection and ineptitude, the organization made of dedicated amateurs up against both law enforcement professionals and a stupid public, the organization that I would protect with everything in the world until we'd succeeded in our attempt to save that probably unworthy world from itself, whether it wanted that or not. Sometimes the world doesn't know what's best for it. Thank you.